Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
Welcome to the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News. As we get you set for the latest news, insight, and analysis as game time approaches, the BNN pregame show is presented by Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out LithiaFordBoise.com to view the full inventory of vehicles, or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. Now, let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News.
Well, greetings, Boise State fans. Welcome on in to Lithia Ford of Boise, a pregame show. The scene, just about an hour ago or so, right before the gates opened. Perfectly blue sky inside the Mountain West Championship Trophy. Will be given out by Commissioner Craig Thompson after the game tonight. The final trophy. Craig Thompson delivers the trophy before he retires at the end of the month. You got the signage outside. You got the banners up all around the stadium. It is a championship Saturday here in Boise, Idaho. A championship is on the line. Fans fired up, excited to come into this one, and we'll show you a little more of that, but we bring you here into the stadium. First time, Winston, we get to do this inside the stadium. BJ Rains, Winston, Venable. Fans are coming in. Sorry the lighting's not perfect. We'll do what we can with the shadows here. But Winston, Venable, man, Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. Appreciate you. Little buzz, man. Championship day, man.
Hey, I'm glad we made the adjustment, BJ, and we're switching this thing up. There's a little better atmosphere. I don't want to say better, but we are on the blue, so I guess I get to say better than the James, even though we got a lot of love for the James. So it's been awesome to get out here. You got the Bulldogs coming out and getting warmed up, so I'm excited, man. This is a great atmosphere. The sun's out. Championship game.
Colin, may have you tilt the camera down just a small tad, not much, but if you got to scope, you turn it to the side. Go back towards Winston a little bit. Other way. There we go. Right there's good. We got Colin Mitchell handling things back there. We got Jaden Finch as well. The whole BNN team is out here, and we're having a lot of fun getting set for kickoff. You can get your score predictions in. You can let us know where you're watching from. We'll get all those comments and questions in here during the show. You got Boise State on the court, almost said court, on the field warming up a little bit. We'll see if we can show some of the layouts. Turn your camera sideways there, Jaden, if you can hear me. We'll come back to Jaden in a minute. He's got the lock on his camera there. But you never got to play in a championship game. You played in some big games on the blue, never won with a title on the line. What do you make of just the opportunity the team has today and kind of, one of these teams is going to hoist that trophy at the end of the day, man?
Yeah, I love that they're doing it. I love that we got the divisions going now, and I think you see it from other conferences. It creates some juice, right? You don't necessarily have to have that top record. You got to win your division, and you get to survive to play in a big-time game like this. So it's an awesome opportunity for these young men to go out here and compete at a high level. Not as much football going on this Saturday, just some big-time conference games. So hopefully there's a lot of eyes on.
What year did you get back here on staff?
So 2017.
So you were here for the 17, the 18, and 19 games?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
2017, I came back and really started as a volunteer and did some internship stuff. Coach Harsin got me off the bench watching practice and involved in the program. So was a part of that 2017, a tough loss in 18. Actually, right down here in the south end zone was really where it wrapped up. So, yeah, it's gonna be a battle. 19 was awesome getting a win on the blue against Hawaii, and hopefully these guys can make it happen again tonight.
Got both teams out doing some stretching, some calisthenics on this one, as we are a little over an hour away from kickoff. The game will be on Big Fox. Look, they even got the Sky Cam out for this one. Look at the Sky Cam up
big
there.
Big time. Mountain West doing it up.
It's going to be a national Fox broadcast. I mean, you guys, it was up on the wall in the team room, win a championship. And I counted it, Winston, it was 370 days since they lost to San Diego State to finish up last season. So literally for over a year, the goal has been to be in this game today. I mean, you talk about the 5:30 a.m. workouts. You talk about all the offseason summer conditioning, not getting a lot of time to go home and see family over the summer. I mean, this is truly a year-round thing, right? And to wait over a full year with the lone goal being to play in this game and win this game. I mean, I know you can't get too hyped, too excited. It's one game, but I mean, they worked a long time to get to this point, haven't they?
No, there's a lot of sacrifices that goes into being a Boise State Bronco. I've said it before. There's nothing easy about playing in that blue and orange. It's a tough gig. It's tough to be in that building and go through what these guys go through. I mean, it's a dedication. It's a commitment, and this is what you do it for, man, to be able to host that trophy over your head at the end of it and, accomplish your goal, check off one of those boxes. And that's what these guys are really doing. And I'm proud that those guys made it here, and we'll see what happens today.
What's that feeling like? Like 2019 Hawaii, you guys win the title. You got the confetti falling down. They're hoisting the trophy. I mean, what is that a feeling that unless you do it, you just can't explain it? And for those freshmen and sophomores that don't have rings, how big is that for these guys?
No, this is awesome. It's for them to get a taste of that, right? And hopefully get that winning taste where then they can continue to pass that down. And that's what Boise State's all about. I mean, if we look right above us right now, all these bowl games, all these championships that Boise State's been a part of, I mean, it's why people come to Boise State, BJ. And it's one of those deals that, it's not the biggest school in the country, but you're playing for something every year, and here we are again.
What I mean, the Mountain West, usually if you can win the Mountain West, you obviously are going to set yourselves up, right, like for the New Year's Six, for a big bowl game. They don't say the goal is to be in the college football playoff or whatever, but you probably know going into the year, you win the Mountain West, you're going to be in a pretty good spot.
Absolutely. And I think it's all about not getting caught up with some of that noise, right, and really going week by week, that 1-0 mentality. And when you do that, you end up finding out that, you play for these type of games. So, I mean, it's everything these guys have put in forth in their heads and their minds and what they're working for.
What's going to be some of the keys you're looking at today? The first time they played, obviously, Boise State won the game 40-20, and, you didn't have Jake Hayner in that game. They didn't have their star safety either, Evan Williams. We don't know injury-wise how Boise State's looking. Still waiting to see some of these guys, whether they're going to be in or out. But obviously this is going to be a different Fresno State team than we saw 2 months ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Different Fresno State team, different Boise Bronco team. I remember that game a few weeks back, and guys like Zeke Noah, huge factor in that game. Interception, big time sack. I mean, like a 15-yard sack that he got. So getting a guy back like Zeke, hopefully we'll see number 7 flying around on that field today. Taylon Green, I remember, I think he had some decision-making stuff going on. He threw an interception in the back of the end zone, maybe as they were coming out, that led into points for Fresno State. Yeah. So there was some things that I'm guessing Taylon Green's made some better decisions or learned about his decision-making and has improved in that. So you're not going to see the same Boise State offense. I think you're going to see 2 hard-nosed, blue-collar type of teams going at it, and everybody looks a little different. That's what makes this game exciting, BJ.
He's Winston Venable, former Boise State player, coach, and he's helping us out here. This is the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. My name's BJ Rains. If you came on late, we'll take your score predictions down in the comments. We'll take we'll give you a shout out wherever you're watching the game from. Really looking forward to this one. And we did have someone on here, Daniel. I apologize. He went over to the James to see us there and to enter the contest, but we had some press conferences. We had some things going on. And then given the timing, we just came over here pregame. So we apologize to you, Daniel. But we will be back postgame at the James. So hopefully it's a party over there after the game. We'll have Coach Ridd with us, and looking forward to that postgame. But if you are just checking us out, we'll take your comments, your score predictions. He's watching from section 108. Where's 108? Let's see if we can I'm not sure. It's like right above us, I think. So appreciate you, Daniel. Thanks for watching. It is kind of cool to be down here on the field. But if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that like button like all the cool kids do. Join our YouTube channel. You can see all these broadcasts and things like that. Watching from Western Washington, 35-21 is what Stetson says. We got 38-27, 38-35. That's probably more in the range that I'm in. I think it's going to be it's going to be a tough game, Winston. I mean, you like the fact that Boise State's at home, but this is Boise State's only favored by 3, which they give you for being the home team. So basically, odds makers see this as a 50-50 game.
Yeah, I think it's hard to put a prediction out there. Shout out to my man Avery Williams trying to get a Pro Bowl vote. I watched a little video where he had to do a prediction, and he went 27-13. He's got a couple Fresno State teammates, so they were battling it out there. And I like that prediction right there. I'm not one to really make predictions. I'd rather not. I like to just watch a good quality football game with the Broncos on top, but I wouldn't expect anything less. I mean, it is the championship game, and like we watched last night, USC, Utah, rankings don't matter, records don't matter. It's all out the window when you get to these games.
Now, when these two teams played the first time, Taylor Green was still kind of evolving as a quarterback. They were still a run-heavy first team. That was the second game in a row, the San Diego State game the week before, that they rushed for exactly 316 rushing yards. George Helani had 157 yards in this game and a touchdown. Ashton Genty got over 100 yards as well, 109. And as I said, 316 for the team. Fresno State, they don't rank super high in the rushing stats. I mean, is this? I know Taylor Green's evolved as a passer, but is Boise State going to really try to pound the rock today?
I think that's their identity. I think we've seen Taylor Green have the ability to throw. But we know what Andy Avalos likes in his offense, and that's pounding that rock, controlling the clock, and really taking over the possessions of the football game. So I don't think they steer far away from what they're really good at and what they've been trying to establish the whole year. But going back even to last game, BJ, I think it was going into that fourth quarter, it was 20-20 or 27-20, and a couple of these touchdowns happened late, and Boise kind of turned the corner late and made it a different ball game on paper. So I mean, I remember watching that from my TV, and we're at mid-third quarter, and that was a tight ball game.
20-20 until I think 45 seconds left in the third quarter or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a tie game with 16 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, so I would expect something similar. And, one thing I did notice with their quarterback last game was they really did try to establish the run game. Fresno State did, and I think what we know from Jake Haener is that the guy can sling it a little bit. He can dink and dunk it. He makes great decisions. Those guys are rolling. So I think we're going to see a different Fresno State team. And it's something that Boise State's defense hasn't had to see yet. And it's going to pose some challenges.
From a coaching perspective, I mean, a championship is on the line. This is last week against Utah State, you knew you were playing the next week. I mean, this is the game. This is championship game, whether it be from Dirk Cutter and pulling all his bags out of the trick, whether it's defensively, whether it's the 4th and 1 decision that Andy Avalos is going to have to make. How big is coaching in a championship game?
Yeah, you got to empty the clip. Whatever you got, no holding back, right? I mean, we're not thinking that you're holding back anything for a bowl game. This is the first part of that goal, that first box to check. So you're emptying that clip, man. I mean, and you got to be on point. Coaches have to be on point. And that's why, we talked about it earlier, BJ, is this week any different than other weeks? Yeah, it's absolutely different. All these coaches, their sleep, their mindset, the players' sleep, their mindset, it's all heightened. It's all a different game when it comes down to the championship. So it's the next level, man.
In terms of the 4th and 1s or some of those key in-game decisions, I mean, does it tell you a lot about a coach? I mean, does Andy have to prep for some of that? Whoever's helping all that. I mean, but as a coaching staff, the in-game decisions of a title game, there's a lot on the players today, but there's a lot on the coaches too.
Yeah, and that's what those guys get paid for, right? I mean, I think collectively, you got to have a staff that helps you out as the head guy, right? I mean, actually, Coach Riddle was one of those guys for Coach Harsin and even Coach Avalos. You're always going to have an experienced guy or a guy that's maybe more versed in the game management. Sometimes that's strengths of coaches. Sometimes it's not. Andy Avalos is a pretty well-versed guy. I mean, he's got a lot of things dialed when it comes down to time management, game management, and then obviously the X's and O's of football. So he's got some good help with him, some experienced staff members, and I'm sure those guys are dialed, ready to go.
With the Afford Boise pregame show, appreciate everybody for checking us out here. We're on the blue. Why don't you see if you can pan over a little bit and show no, you can just use the camera right here. Just pan over and see if the camera does anything, if you can show what's going on here with the we'll see if the lighting changes or not once you get over there. Yeah, keep going. That's all right.
Got the big boys warming up out there for the Broncos. Looks like the big guys,
There's
O-line,
D-line right here coming in too, you can see.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're,
family members in town. Love it.
We're on the Hall of Fame Plaza here. We got Johnny Mallory wanted to come in for a minute.
Oh, got to get Johnny in here.
Johnny ball game. You might have to back the camera up a little bit.
Johnny's rocking out like usual. Hey, it's not BNN After Dark. We're going pregame here, Johnny.
For whom the bell tolls. We'll see today, Winston Venable.
What do you make of the? He's got the hat backwards with the
I told him earlier I like the look.
Man,
He's got the
sport coat.
Winston likes the get up, and I appreciate that from one, suave fashionista to another. Man, it's cold out here, but I'm having fun. Thanks for having me on, guys.
What are you making of the game, man? You've been down there on the field. I saw you shaking hands with folks, making your way around the field. You're watching the teams warm up. What do you make, man? We're about an hour away from kickoff.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll just say that. I don't really know who's going to win. I would probably lean towards Fresno. I'm sorry, Winston Venable. I think Hayner's going to be able to get key third downs picked up. To me, this game comes down to third down. You got to stay on the field or get a team off of the field, and I think we're going to see that today. And I want to see I feel like I'm putting too high of expectations on Talon. Like every single game, he blows me away a little bit more. And I'm like, okay, he's not going to get better than he did last week. Come on, give this kid a break. Cut him a little more slack here. But BJ, every single day it's like, or every single game, it's like, dude, he gets better. If this is the TG10 show, and this is one of those games that we'll all talk about on the radio 5 years from now and say, oh, yeah, Talon against Fresno Mountain West Championship. Like one of those quintessential moments that dude knows a lot about. Kellen on that drive in Washington, D.C., right?
Oh, yeah.
All those moments that you've been through, Winston, winning Fiesta Bowls and stuff. And hopefully this is kind of a defining moment. That, to me, gives Boise State the best chance. Unleash TG10, and let's see him run and throw all over the place and put on a pretty good show for a nationally televised audience.
We haven't talked a lot about Talon Green before he got here. Do you think this is kind of maybe on a national stage, a breakout game for him, or is this a chance for him, like he said, to start making that legacy here, leading them to a Mountain West championship?
Yeah, I mean, it's an opportunity to do so. Absolutely. And I think the biggest thing is for them to win and Talon play solid. I don't think he has to do anything special because I think Kellen Moore and Brett Rippon and some of the great guys in the past, Grant and all these dudes, they've had their ups and downs. And the expectation, as we've seen Talon play him, the dude is lighting up our eyes, and he continues to do that. At some point, maybe he'll have an off day. You just hope it's not tonight, right? As a Bronco fan. But I do think when you go and win this game, that really helps you move into the next phase, your confidence going into a bowl and winning that, going into the next season and continuing what you've built as a freshman here at Boise State.
How many rings did you win here, and how much do you revere those rings you have as a player?
Yeah, well,
the winning team today gets one, and those never go away, Winston.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of those deals, you hold yourself high with that, right? So, I mean, as a player, I got 2 rings, and then on a staff, like we said, I was a part of the 17, 19, and been here for those 2. So 4 total. And it's been awesome to be a part of that.
What do you make of the defense today, Johnny and Winston, too? We mentioned the injuries earlier. You're hoping to get Zeke Noah back. We'll see on Tyreek Jones as well, Dimitri Washington, Herbert Gums, a lot of guys. But, what do you make, Johnny, of the defense? They're a little battered and bruised. It's not the same offense either with Hayner back. What do you make of what's going on with the defense?
I saw Tyreek Jones warming up. He was going through the motions. I don't know if that means he's going to play. It felt like he's going to play. Again, kind of back to the ring thing. If you're Tyreek Jones, I mean, you're going to have to be medically if you are medically cleared in any way, shape, or form, Tyreek Jones, you're playing in this game, right, Winston? This isn't one that you sit out. It's everything at stake as far as the ring and whatnot. I think we're going to see some of these guys give it that go. Hopefully it works because you're right. The defense is very important to what Boise State needs to do today to win. You got to be able to get Hayner in 3rd and long, right? You guys know how this thing goes, and I don't know. It's really cold out. I wonder if that's going to make a difference.
Is that if it's a championship game? I mean, you're doing everything you possibly can to tape it up and shoot it up and get out there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And like we talked about last week, senior day, but you got another one. Not this time, right? So, like you guys just said, it's tape it up tight, and let's roll. Do the most you can to get out there. And you never want to put you'll never put a player in a vulnerable situation and put them out there if they shouldn't be. The player is going to do the most he can to play, but when it comes down to it, you got to have that safety in mind. But if a guy is 70%, 80%, I mean, most of these guys right now late in the season, a little bit dinged up, right? So let's figure out the way to tape it up and do a job.
What do you know? What was your relationship with Kirby Moore like? Obviously, he's here trying to find him on the field. I don't think he's made his way out yet. But
the OC for Fresno.
Yeah, and quarterback coach. And he's done a great job with Jake Haener in this offense this year, Winston. You know the Moores really well. What do you know about Kirby as a coach? I mean, what should we be worried for?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know much about Kirby as a coach other than he does come from that Moore family, and it's a family of coaches, right? And if you see what they've been doing lately at Fresno, I think they got a lot of belief, and their offense is rolling. So it's not surprising that guy is an offensive coordinator, as young as he is, doing as well as he is. It's not a surprise that his brother got done playing in the NFL and jumped right into a job in the NFL. They're special people, man. And that's probably a big reason why their success and the quarterback room is doing so well over there at Fresno.
Johnny, before we let you go, and I got a couple more things for Winston, but they just walked by with the defensive and offensive MVP awards. I don't know if you saw them walking by. Give me an offensive guy. If you want to be the cop-out and take Green, that's fine. But if Boise State wins this game, give me a defensive guy and an offensive guy that are going to have to be big today.
Okay, other than TG10, I'll go I'll go the running backs. Everybody's expecting an aerial shootout. Maybe this is a George Halani, Denzel Mims type of situation for Fresno and Boise State. And defensively, shucks, man. DJ Schramm racking up 11 or 12 tackles, some big plays maybe, or my man JL Skinner. A pick or two, a massive hit, a flex, something like that, maybe in that regard. In Fresno, I forget his name, it's escaping me, but they have a really good safety.
Evan Williams.
Yeah, Evan Williams, the whiskey man. They do a great job at safety over the course of the years. Fresno puts a lot of guys into the league at that position. It feels like maybe him. So appreciate you guys, man.
When a guy gets ejected for targeting, the next game when he comes in, I mean, is that scary at all? Do you play any differently? Because now this is the championship game. If you're gone, your home career is over. Last week he at least knew he had another game. Does JL have to play timid today, or is that tough?
Nah, trust your technique, trust who you are, and go let it rip, man. Because then you're dealing with playing hesitant out there, and if you're playing hesitant out there, bad things happen. Whether that's bad things happen like you're not playing your technique and you're thinking about the wrong things, or you do end up getting injured and you're not playing full speed. So you got to try to clear the mind. Last year, JL dealt with that the whole year. I mean, there was more games than that, and you don't tell him to change necessarily. You work on a couple things. You emphasize keeping your head up. That's all you can do, because if you try to get in his head too much about it, you're going to change who that person is on the field, and you don't want to change that. Obviously, you want him in the game, but you can't be playing hesitant on the football field.
Johnny, any final thoughts, Johnny, for our viewers here?
If you guys are watching at home, enjoy it. Stay warm. It's probably not even too late to come down here and get a ticket. This is going to be a fun atmosphere, and hopefully the fans are going to storm the field, and this fan base, this community that I'm a part of, gets to have a fun day. So
we saw you after the basketball championship. All the fans stormed the field, and I'm looking at all the fans, and I look over, and there's not only John Mallory had stormed the court, but he was getting a selfie with Max Rice.
There it is.
So I want to know if tonight, if Boise State wins the championship, are we going to see the Talon Green selfie with John Mallory tonight, or
maybe Petros Papadakis? He's calling the game for Fox. He's on the field. He's the commenter. I had a conversation with him a little earlier. He's freezing. He's an LA guy, so maybe something like that. But that's going to be a scene. We've been on the field before when this field has been stormed after winning this game. And, I mean, you got to swim around, Winston. I mean, you've probably been on the stage and stuff. I hope this community gets that moment tonight. And the LA Bowl against a Pac-12 team is such a better situation than most likely the Barstool Bowl against a MAC team. So there's just a lot of reasons why I think this is a big game and opportunity for this football team.
What's the post-game show situation so folks can hear you?
Yeah, about 45 minutes after the game, go to KBOI, and Prater and myself on Bronco Game Night taking your calls and talking about bowl games and all that good stuff. So
appreciate you, man.
Thanks, guys.
BNN After Dark afternoon edition here. We appreciate him for coming on. Couple more minutes with Winston, then we'll get out of here. And but you got some players now taking the field. You can see Fresno State going with the white jerseys, white pants. They got the red helmets. Boise State in the all blue unit. Yeah, you had to go all blue for the title game, right?
Hey, whatever the boys want, man. Whatever the boys want. I mean, I never wore. I think I wore all orange once on the blue against Fresno State. We beat them, I think, 51-0. So the all orange made sense at one point, but that was the only time. We usually always wear all blue, but it's all about what the players want. And it sounds like they wanted the blue today, so I'm happy about it.
I know it's a little cold, Winston, but you just look at the scene here with the snow on the foothills, perfectly blue sky, and a football player is not going to say it's cold, right?
No, these guys are lathered up, warmed up, ready to go. I mean, they're playing in the championship game at home. Their families are in town. I mean, it's an awesome opportunity. They're lathered up with that Vaseline to give them an extra layer of protection. They're good to go.
What are the keys for you? I mean, obviously turnovers are you got to win the turnover battle in this game, right? I know that's a big one, and as much as I love what Taylon Green's doing, he has threaded the needle a couple of times very closely on some throws. You mentioned the first Fresno game. He had a pick down there that led to a Fresno State touchdown. I mean, how important is not only winning the turnover battle, but avoiding like the horrible fumble on a punt return or the ones like deep in your own end? Turnover game is going to be big today.
Turnover game is definitely going to be big. I mean, that's always an emphasis for defenses and offense, ball security and taking the ball away. If you're +3 in the turnover battle, you're usually winning that game. So defenses are trying to take it away. Offenses are making sure they're holding on to it. But I really see some of the keys being that obviously Boise State emphasizes their run game. They need to start fast with that run game. All right. It's all about starting fast, getting points on the board, or getting their defense off the field early and shutting down this Fresno State offense early just to build that momentum, build that confidence, even going into the second, third series of the game. All about how you start and getting off to a quick one there. And then also I believe that Boise State is going to establish that run game, but what are we going to see out of the pass game? What wide receivers are going to step up? What decisions is Taylon Green going to make? And how effective are they going to be through the air, knowing that Fresno State's probably going to be clued in and dialed in on the defensive rushing attack?
Jake's got 31-20. We appreciate that. If you have a final score prediction before we get out of here, we'll take it on screen here. But what about special teams too? That's probably big. Goes without saying, I guess, because you remember the Fresno State game in 2017, or no, it was 2018 in the snow out here. Yep. It was a missed extra point. And again, it was the snow. It's a little different. Yeah. But it was a missed extra point that essentially caused the game to have to go to overtime, and then they lost.
Yeah, let's just go back to the last time these two guys met. Boise State had trouble in the red zone. Jonah Dalmas, I think he kicked 3 field goals in the first half. You don't make those field goals right there, I mean, you're in jeopardy. And we've seen Jonah obviously be a key contributor to this team. And if he's called upon and needed, he's got to step up and do well. Reynolds in the punting game, flipping the field position with a Boise State defense. It doesn't always have to happen right away on offense, but when you can flip that field and put your defense in a good spot and play that field position battle, it's another huge factor when it comes to winning ball games.
You can't have one of those 14-yard shanks, punts.
No, that's the opposite of flipping the field that we're talking about, man. It's really where you don't get that third down, you're on the 50-yard line, and then you go and pin them, and they have a hard time coming out, and then you're flipping that field once they have to punt coming out of their end zone.
I got to try to find it here, but Annie Reynolds, a relative of watching from Australia right now.
Love it, Annie.
46, go Broncos, watching from Australia. So they're watching from Greece. I saw some family members for. His parents are here, by the way.
Oh, okay.
They came over from Australia, and they're in the stands. And I think they're going to come to the James afterwards and meet us. And that's pretty cool, though. That's their first game they'll get to see.
That's beautiful, man. That's awesome.
Come over to America from Australia and see your kid punting in the Mountain West Championship game.
It's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Awesome deal, man.
My son says 28-21. Boise State is his pick. We got 42-28 as well. Helani and Skinner as the pick for him. Who's a guy for you, offense and defense, that when they're, the obvious answer is Taylon and probably a Schramm or a Noah. But when they give out that offensive, defensive MVP trophies up on the stage, if Boise State's going to win, give us maybe a sleeper, or just who's going to be big today?
Yeah, it's got to
be big.
It's got to be George Helani for me, man, and George Helani and Zeke Noah. And if it's not Zeke Noah, I don't know what his status is for this game, but he did have a huge game. He is an integral part of that defense. He's a leader, and if it's not Zeke, it's just that linebacker crew. So if Zeke's not out there, I got my eye on Andrew Simpson the whole day because he's going to have a huge game in a big-time opportunity as a young guy and contributing, which is a tough task.
It just feels like there's got to be a a Tyreek Jones pick six or a JL Skinner, just some flat. I know it's cliche, but like in the biggest games, you need your best players to step up, right?
Yeah, big time players make big time plays in big time games. I mean, that's just one of those little quotes, one of those little sayings that it holds true for sure. And not all those players have to play well or play at their best, but like you're saying, you'd really hope for some guys to step up with some big time plays for the Broncos.
Jacob's wondering if does the secondary have enough to guard Cropper and Remigio and the receivers they've got. I mean, it's one thing to have the quarterback they have. They got a pretty good darn offense. I mean, Mims was a first team running back. They got, star receivers as well. I mean, it's not just Haener. That offense is pretty talented.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's one thing that we've seen from the Broncos in the past couple games even is struggling a little bit in that and with the secondary. But they're going to sharpen up their technique. They'll have great eyes. I have all the faith in these guys to go out there and do what they need to do. But, yes, I think Fresno State stuck to the run game. Even though they were down a couple weeks back when they played, they stuck to their run game, and I think it's because they didn't have their star quarterback. So I see them throwing the ball and trying to take advantage of what Boise State can give them, but I think Boise State's going to play stingy tonight like they have in the past, and we'll make it challenging for Jake.
They haven't lost since they left the Blue. Fresno State, 7 wins in a row since they left the Blue. I mean, momentum. I mean, how big is that in football when you're rolling and you got everything going?
Yeah, and there's guys on this program right now for Fresno State that were here in 2018 that were a part of that win. There's no lack of confidence. I would not imagine that these guys are coming in with. So I think they're probably coming in humbled and confident, and they understand it's a big game, but I don't think anybody's scared to play the Broncos right now, especially these guys who have had some success against them.
We talked about this on Wednesday, but David wants to know about, says got to get pressure on Haener. And we talked about this on the Winston Venable show Wednesday morning. But when you don't have a George Tarlas, even if you have a Dimitri Washington, he's not, going to be 100% playing 80 snaps tonight. Even if, the Isaiah Banya transferred, I mean, the lack of depth on the edge right now seems to obviously be hurting Boise State. They're not getting a ton of pressure in some of these games. How do you create pressure? I know you have to win your one-on-one battles, but is it blitzing? Is it doing things differently? I know a lot of fans wished in the BYU game they would have blitzed more. Best photographer in the business right here.
Oh, he sure is. He sure is. He sure is.
How do you create pressure?
Yeah, you got to be, create pressure. It's being creative. All right. And I think going back and watching that film from the last time these guys played, Zeke Noah was in that backfield. A couple of these players were in that backfield. So they'll switch it up. They'll have some things dialed up. I'm always a big blitz guy. And as a nickel back in the day, we used to, Coach Gakowski and Coach Wilcox used to send me off the edge all the time. So I'm a fan of being creative on defense with blitzes, but they'll have some guys. I think you just see guys step up. Andrew Simpson's one that I've talked about already, but he's living in the backfield a little bit. They're finding a way that they're finding out that he's a good pass rusher. And there'll be some other guys that they ended up, coming off the edge or dialing some stuff up inside, and they'll be creative to put some pressure on this quarterback.
So Johnny had a bad feeling. I'm not going to lie. I've got a little bit of a bad feeling for Boise State also in this game. It all comes down for me to the health of the defense. Even if guys are out there, what percentage are they at? It's not going to be a full house today.
Yeah.
The crowd will certainly help, but we'll see what the crowd gets to. I don't know if I'm ready to predict a loss, but I just think it's going to be a tough one for Boise State. As we kind of wrap this up, what are your feelings about this? I'm sure you're going to pick a Boise State win, but what do they need to do to win? How do you see the game going today?
Yeah, I honestly, I wish I watched a little bit more of Fresno, to be honest with you, BJ.
Why do you pay him the big bucks? Gives analysis when he didn't watch the games.
No. I watched plenty of Fresno, but I haven't dove into the tape as much as I have the Boise State Broncos, right? So I wish I could really tell you how much groove these guys got. On paper they're grooving, right? And I think they do have that confidence. But like I said earlier, BJ, both teams need to start off fast. I'd love to see a battle. It's one of those games that I think as a fan and alum, it's okay if Boise State blows these guys out. I'm always into high quality entertainment and kind of being on the edge of my seat. But for this one, I'd rather not see that. And in my mind as well, I'm not too sure that's going to happen. I think championship games, they just end up having a little tighter games than people imagine.
We don't have any injury news yet, but we have to get off the show here due to the Mountain West rules. So check my Twitter account. We should be getting it in the next 5 to 10 minutes. What you want to know in terms of who's in, who's out. just because a guy's not announced as out doesn't mean either that he's going to play or play a lot. So maybe some semantics today, but Winston, we appreciate your time, man. Championship game. It's a beautiful day, a little cold, but hopefully for Boise State fans here in about 4 hours, there's a big party right behind us on the blue.
There we go. Let's party time it up, man. It's going to be an exciting game to watch. Awesome that the Broncos are here. Fresno State's back. Got plenty of California boys for the Broncos. I'm sure they're going to be hungry to win this one.
We'll be over at the James postgame. Hopefully it's a celebration. We're going to wait till the basketball game's over. The BSU basketball Texas A&M game is from basically 5 to 7 Mountain Time. Football game should end around 5:30, so it should work out perfect right around 7 o'clock. So after Boise State wins, flip over and watch the basketball game on ESPNU, and then after the game, we will be over at the James about 7 o'clock or so. Ray will be with us. We'll be hopefully celebrating. Hopefully we're dusting the confetti off the shirts.
Dust it off. Dust your shoulders off, BJ.
And, if not, it'll be a somber night. So
yeah, I got to protect the blue. Got to win on the blue. I know that the staff is hungry. The players are hungry, but you said it, man. This is a big-time game, and this really can solidify what the Broncos have been working on the whole year and put that exclamation point on it. And if not, man, that's a really tough deal.
Rowpaint.com, Lithia Ford of Boise, ICCU, all of our great sponsors. Please go support them. We appreciate their support here. And again, post-game, we'll be back with a post-game show, the trophy presentation, interviews with Taylon Green, Ashton Genty, Eric McAllister. Yeah, Boise State can't keep them from talking anymore. They'll be talking after the game, and we'll make sure we get that to you. Full post-game show coming up around 7 o'clock or so. So thanks. Enjoy the game. Thanks to Winston. Thanks to Jaden and Colin and Johnny. And we'll see. Boise State, 45 minutes from kickoff. We'll see what happens. And we'll talk to you post-game over on the Lithia Ford of Boise post-game show over at the James Kitchen and Bar. We'll see you there. Enjoy the game, folks. This is Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.